Hi guys, this is Stan. Today I am beyond excited to unveil all the enchanted treasures awaiting us on my April TBR list. This time I am feeling a little bit more adventurous. I have set a goal to read 5 books in this month, which is a little bit more than usual. Normally, I will only put 4 books on my TBR because I am confident that by the end of that month, I will be able to finish all the books on my TBR. With the recent book hauls, which I may do a video about it soon, I've got a bunch of books that I am excited to dive into and catch up on. Interestingly, quite a lot of the books on this month's TBR is actually sequels in series that I have started before, so I am eager to continue on those journeys. So I'm going to challenge myself in April and see how many books I can manage to finish. So let's do it. If you crave epic fantasy adventures but lack a trusty dragon mount, fear not. Subscribe to this channel for fantasy reviews, fantasy recommendation, and enough fantasy content to fill your imagination for a lifetime. Without further ado, let's dive into my April TBR. The first one is a subscription book, which is a goal that I keep doing to finish the subscription book in the month that you got it. You usually pay for book subscription on a monthly basis, which means that every month you're gonna receive a new book, new title. And I think that if you don't finish all these subscription books as soon as possible, then they will just be accumulating and you will end up with loads of subscription books on your shelf, which is not great. So logically, the first book on my April's TBR is Ghostblood GSFF March Pig, which is High Voltage by Chris and Jen Sugden. I think this one is gonna be an easy, fun read because it is an urban fantasy about a private detective agency set in London in the 90th century. Since the police is like running out of resources, this pair of private detectives is going to help the police to investigate a series of impossible bank robberies. This book is described as twisty, inventive, joyously funny, and compared to works by author like Terry Pratchett. So I guess this book will be on an entertaining side. To me, this book feels like last month's subscription book, which is The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. If I read the synopsis of these books in a bookshop, I probably won't pick them up immediately. But I am confident in Ghostblood choice because this month I finished The Book of Doors and I think that one is really good for me. And also, I've been reading quite a lot of chunky epic fantasies, so I guess this one will be a good palate cleanser. The next one on my TBR is also like a series that I want to keep on with. It is the last book of Brandon Sanderson's secret project, The Sunlit Man. This book is a Waterstone exclusive edition and I think this one is by far the best they have done because I think the spray edge is kind of matching with the cover and the theme of this book. Just by reading the synopsis, I think this book is about a character called Nomad who can actually travel the cosmere. Whoa! This time he landed on a planet where the slaves had enough of the heat coming from the sunrise. Nomad, I guess, will act like a middleman to mediate the conflict between the slaves and the tyrant. I did look up the reviews of this book. Most people are saying this book is fast-paced and also really intense. Most importantly, I think there's gonna be quite a lot of references to the cosmere, especially the Stormlight Archive. I honestly can't wait to get back to the cosmere, read this book, get up to date with the cosmere, Stormlight Archive in general, and read Stormlight Archive 5 in December. By the way, I think I need to read Mistborn Era 2 and also Elantris before I start Stormlight Archive 5. It's gonna be a Brandon Sanderson year for me. Another series I want to keep up with is the Narnia's trilogy by James Islington. So I put the second book, An Echo of Things to Come, on my April's TBR. It is an epic fantasy set in a world where the Augurs once ruled with the power to see the future. After a rebellion, they were overthrown and their magic essence was limited. Coming to now, we're gonna follow a character called Davian who got the power to see truth and lies, and also finding out he possessed the power of these Augurs. With a device left by a mysterious man, he gonna pair it up with another character called Wur to investigate the clues in it. On this journey, they're gonna meet different characters. What I like about the first book is that we never know which character to trust because every character, other than the main characters, hold the cast so close to their chest. It is always like we meet this new character and he joined our journey. Then we dig up his past and find out that he has done something like this before, which is unforgivable. So we're not certain who to trust. Are you really telling the truth, or is that everything that you're gonna tell us? Or is there something more? I can't exactly recall what's happened in the ending, but I remember it as a mess as well as our main characters sort of figuring out their powers. Even though these 3 books are massive and thick, the world building and the plot sometimes may be a little bit complicated, but I find the writing style is actually quite accessible, so I can't wait to get back to this series soon in April. The next series I would like to catch up with, indeed to finish, is the final book of the Pack and the Pattern trilogy by J.T. Greathouse, The Pattern of the World. It is an Asian-inspired historical fantasy, and the vibe is similar to Robin Hobb's The Realm of the Elderling. In the first 2 books, we're gonna follow a particular character, an arrogant boy called Wen. By thinking once he became the hand of the empire, he could use this special power to shape the world according to his will. So he studied very hard for the imperial exam. At the same time, he found out that his mom's family is actually leading a rebellion against the empire. So Wen is kind of torn between these 2 sides of truth. By the end of the first book, Wen would realize the consequences of his actions, and in the second book, it is like he's rectifying all these mistakes in the past. The ending of the second book is actually quite epic, and it is a total mess. So I can't wait to get back to the final book and see how everything gonna be concluded. The last book I would like to squeeze in this tight TBR, the 5th book, additional book of this month, is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. After 6 years, I finally get to read this trilogy. I think after all these years, this trilogy is still quite well received. This is a Chinese-inspired fantasy series. We're gonna follow a peasant from the rural called Rin, who was lucky enough to study in the military academy. Despite her skin color, she showed her talents in the magic system in here. With the rising tension between these neighboring states, Rin was drawn into this conflict called the Third Poppy War. She will observe the brutality of the war and make a good use of her magic power in here. There will be political developments, war, and exploring themes like identity, power, and consequences of ambition. I have no idea why I haven't read this trilogy yet. If this trilogy is as good as people say, then you're gonna see me read the sequel really soon. These are the 4 realms I shall conquer this month. Our quest for the month of April is set, filled with magic and epic adventures waiting to be discovered. I hope you are as excited as me to dive into all these fantastical realms. Join me on this epic journey. Like this video to be my adventuring companion. Comment below with your own TBR picks and share this quest to your fellow bookworm. I will see you real soon. Goodbye.